two different parts. This is the sensor unit, which goes on the bass drum. I've got mine here. This is the module, which I've got down to the left. If you put that onto your bass drum hoop, connect it with two cables, you have just effectively mic'd your drum kit. It takes about 30 seconds. Everything you are going to hear, drum-wise, is coming through this sensor unit, okay? Everything. The only other mic on stage is obviously the one I'm talking to you through. But as you will hear, this is doing much more than the one which I'm talking to you through. Okay, so how this works. The sensor unit has two microphones. That picks up everything. This is not the clever part. That's just a couple of microphones. The clever part is the box down here. This has DSP in it, digital signal processing, which allows the module to create the sound of the kit that we want. But you are hearing this. This is not some fancy electronic drum unit. This is not some fancy triggering system. It's the sound of this drum kit through these microphones, okay? If I change the snare, you will hear the fact that the snare has changed. If I detune a tom, you will hear that tom detune through here, okay? You are hearing this drum kit, and it's picking up everything, the cymbals, the toms, the works. This is completely flat at the moment. There's no effects, no processing, there's no fancy stuff. It's just the sound of this kit. Completely raw. Okay, that's fine, but it just sounds like a drum kit. I want more than that. So what I can do, this works because the sensor unit here has got two microphones in it. And it picks up the audio from the kit and it sends it to the module. The module allows me to change the sound of the kit using DSP, digital signal processing, which means I can add effects onto the sound of this drum kit, and that is what you are listening to on the cans or through the PA. So as I'm playing, I can add compression. I can really make it pump if I want to. I'll back that off. And maybe some reverb. And because it has lots of different effects inside, I don't like that reverb. Let's change it for a room. Okay, simple as that. Everything is coming through there. Now, because it uses DSP, I can get it to do some quite clever stuff. So I can do things like this. I have always wanted to be Stuart Copeland, and now I can be Stuart Copeland. Okay, or if I want to be John Bonham. Everything you're hearing is this drum kit. It's just through effects. Okay, you can hear, might be able to hear the sound of my voice has changed. That's because I picked a different preset. There's 200 presets. Sorry, 200 user banks that you can use, and that will store everything. That will store all your settings and everything. But say I want to use a drum sound from a track maybe 30 years old that has a really distinctive drum sound. Personally, I can't think of any tracks which have got really distinctive drum sounds. But if I did, I could play them. Okay? I'm just using presets at the moment. I'm not using anything fancy. I haven't changed anything. I'm just using presets. And it's just the sound of this kit through this sensor. Okay, now, let's talk about sensitivity. People look at this and they go, well, this can't be doing everything that it's doing. Well, yes, it is. If you've got the headphones on, you'll be able to hear me do this. Put a bit of reverb on it. Okay? I can play with my hands. Doesn't anything if that's too loud. Or if I want to, you can hear that through your headphones? Yeah? Okay. So we're talking incredibly sensitive. It has the convenience of an electronic kit, but with the playability of an acoustic drum kit. So there's nothing fancy here at the moment. Everything you're hearing is just this drum kit. However, the sensor unit here has got a trigger built into it. So if I want to, I can change my 22-inch Tour Custom maple shell into a nice little 18-inch bass drum. or if I want to add some serious sub. If you notice, when I hit the rim of the snare, I've got a clap on that. That's because I have an optional extra DT50 trigger on the snare drum. You don't have to have that, but if you want to, you can actually have triggers on all your drums on a 5-piece kit, okay? So you can expand it in that way as well. There are 747 sounds built into the module, and you can add 100 of your own as well. So that covers all different sorts of things, depending on what you want to do. But to be honest, it's the internal effects which are the really, really cool thing. Because if you want to play a gated drum sound, you don't have to have gated drum samples. You can actually have real gated reverb using the sensor, okay? So that makes it really, really cool. Now, because I've got the trigger on the snare, I can do things like this. On the bass drum, I've got a Radio King sample with a nice big slack calf head. Same on the snare. So I can now change my brand new, straight out of the box 4 days ago Tour Custom into a vintage sounding kit. Very, very easy. So I'm using the sound of this drum kit, plus effects, plus samples if I want to. Okay, make sense so far? What makes it so easy is the fact that it's basically 3 controls. For every single patch, and like I said, you've got 200, and they are called scenes in EAD, you can have control over your reverb, your effect, which is generally compression or distortion or whatever else you want, and then your trigger, which is your sample level as well. So just with those, you can tweak them as you're playing and change your sound, okay? The other thing that makes it really, really stupidly easy to use is the fact that I can record just by pressing one button, okay? Normally, if I want to record a drum kit, I've got to stick mics up over the top, or I've got to buy a separate recorder and stick it behind me. The audio quality isn't always very good. And at the moment, I know you are hearing me play, and then you're hearing it through the cans or through the PA. So what I will do is I will record the kit, and then I will play it back so you can hear it, what it's like without some English guy hitting a drum kit in the background, okay? So here we go. If I just hit the record button, and we're going. So what I'll do, I'll add compression again, and reverb. Totally flat. Compression. Reverb. Turn that up a little bit. It's that quick and easy. So I can record in 3 different ways. I can record directly into the module, as I've just done there. I can record directly into my computer by connecting the EAD module straight into my computer with a USB cable. Then I can record into Pro Tools, Logic, Ableton, whatever else you want. And the third thing I can do is I can connect it up to the app. Now, for those of you who like to film yourselves, this is where things get stupidly easy. You can connect your iPad or iPhone to your module, and you can basically use the audio from the EAD and the camera in the iPad to do things like this. These are a load of patches which I haven't played so far as well. Okay. So I can just connect the two together, I can film on my iPad, use the audio from the EAD, and it's just stupidly simple. So I can then upload from here to social media platforms or whatever else you need, or I can just save it. If I'm a teacher, I can film lessons, and I can send the video to my student before they've even got home. Okay, it's that simple, okay? The other thing that this app does, which is very, very clever, is this. I can open up any tune which is in my iTunes or in my Dropbox, and obviously I can just play it. Okay. That's fine, it's just a bass line, but there's no timing reference, there's no click. So what the app does is when I open up a new tune for the first time, it generates a click track, okay? So now, go back to the top, I now have a click, okay? That could be anything. That could be Metallica, that could be Rush, that could be Deep Purple, that could be whoever else you want. It's there, and it stays with it. So if I slow the track down, okay, maybe that was a little bit severe, or speed it up, the click stays with it. So I can now practice all the songs I want to, complete with a click. I can also set up loop points so that if I just want to play around a chorus or something like that, I can do it as well. It's incredibly, incredibly powerful. So that is EAD. So it's an audio capture device for your acoustic drum kit. It allows you to change the sound of the kit using DSP, digital signal processing. So I can put effects on the kit. I can basically mic it in about 30 seconds, okay, just using this box down here. Then I can record in 3 different ways, directly into the module, directly into my computer, directly into the app. I can make videos, I can upload those to YouTube, I can do whatever else I want. Map is $4.99, okay? From a drummer's point of view, this has answered so many things that I've wanted over the last 15 years, and it all does it in one box.